Hey everybody, it's Q Storm. I'm back. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I've just been very busy. But hey, something happened just last night that I had to drop what I was doing and I had to share my opinions with you. So last night, 45, okay, President, nah, Trump, Trump gave a speech to Congress in congressional chambers. And now in the interest of complete transparency, I didn't see the speech. I was too busy living my life because life's too short. But I've seen tons of coverage. I've been watching CNN, CBS, even watched a little bit of Fox News, and so a lot of coverage. So I feel like I can weigh in. Here's the first thing I'm going to say. I actually found something that I agree with Trump. The whole thing about the fake news media, I actually agree with him. Now, hang on, before you lose your minds, I can hear you all out there right now, some of you, talking about Q. What's going on with you? What have you turned into? First, now you're into the Second Amendment. You're buying guns, and you're agreeing with Trump now. You're turning into a Republican, a conservative. What is going on? No, no, that's not happening whatsoever. But the reason I say that I agree with Trump with the fake news media is because I turn on the TV and all I'm hearing now is, oh, Trump was so presidential last night. Oh, Trump, there were some touching moments. He softened his tone. Oh, he really became the president last night. To all those people, you are the target demo for people who have bridges in Brooklyn to sell. How many times have we seen Trump say something or behave a certain way, and then after just a little bit of time, he's up to his old shit again? Am I the only one that has a memory that remembers this crap? So all you people out there who are saying he was so presidential, do you not think he's going to hit Twitter now? I saw one reporter on CNN talking about, well, he hasn't said anything mean on Twitter in 3 days. Oh, well. That's the sound of a mature grown up. He hasn't been on Twitter for 3 days talking crap. I mean, the bar has been so lowered. Basically, what all these people were so proud of with Donald Trump is that the motherfucker can read a teleprompter. Now, I know Obama was constantly criticized by the right for being someone who sounded good off a teleprompter, but he could actually form words without the teleprompter, and most of the things he said, even though you might not agree with him, they made sense. He wasn't an idiot. Thumbs up, guys. Well done that your president was able to read out the teleprompter and lie to you using something of a vocabulary. That's well done. But the highlight of the evening, as I understand it, and I would applaud him for this. This is something that needed to be said, was he recognized the Navy SEAL who lost his life during the raid in Yemen. So yes, that deserves bipartisan appreciation. But prior to honoring the soldier, now let me get his name. I've got it right here. Okay. Special Warfare Operator William Ryan Owens. No matter what my politics are, I believe we need to honor our fallen heroes. So that's his name, William Ryan Owens. He was a Navy SEAL. Prior to delivering those words in honor of Mr. Owens, I'm reading from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. I mean, this is a widely reported story, but this is where I'm getting this information from right here. First of all, he makes it sound like he had nothing to do with this. He says, this was something that was, just they wanted to do, talking about the generals. This was something that they wanted to do, Mr. Trump said, and they came to see me, and they explained what they wanted to do, the generals, who are very respected, and they lost Ryan. Just let that sink in. Didn't say we lost Ryan. He didn't say this was something that we needed to do, as a leader would who's signing off on a military action. They wanted to do. They came to see me. They explained what they wanted to do. So basically, his generals are setting policy. They're the ones who are determining military action. And it's just, they lost Ryan. So he's throwing his own generals under the bus. So just spare me all of this. Oh, it was a moment where we needed to gather around the president. No, no, no. I send out my best wishes and blessings to the spirit of William Ryan Owens and his family. To hell with Trump. It's just another example of how he will say whatever he needs to say to gain points, to score points. And I don't know what it is. I don't want to say with black folks. I want to say with people in general, because all the media was on the jock of Trump after last night. I don't know why. But even Van Jones, who's been highly critical of Trump and the GOP, even he came out and said at that moment, Trump became the president. He became presidential. What power does Trump have that he gets people to say that he gets people to turn to his side? I don't know if it's something. I don't know if it's something that he puts in their drink. I don't know if he secretly injects them with something, or when they go to Trump Tower, he waves a magic wand and all their sensibilities go out the window. I don't know if he throws cash at them, but Mr. Jones, no relation, by the way. How do you arrive at that? How do you arrive at that assessment? Because I'm assuming you know what he said prior in terms of how they lost Ryan. So what are you talking about? I respect you, sir. I will still follow you. I still admire you. I still agree with you. But I don't understand how you arrive at this conclusion based on that speech. And again, Trump is a person who you cannot rely on what he says. So I just want to check my notes here. So I see where he called for $1 trillion for infrastructure spending. I seem to recall prior to him entering office, the guy that was sitting in the White House, he put forth spending for an infrastructure bill, but then the Republicans were like, no, we can't spend the deficit. It was all about the deficit. And Obama, he also caught hell from the right for bailing out the auto industry and for the stimulus, the TARP package. So I got to quote my man Bill Maher, or paraphrase my man Bill Maher. It's only about Republicans when they want to spend money, then it's okay. When Democrats want to spend money, we don't care about our kids' future. We're leveraging our kids' future. $1 trillion for infrastructure spending. Now, I don't know if that's the same amount that Obama wanted to spend, but it seems like a hell of a lot of money. By the same token, he wants to expand the military, and while paying for this by cutting government departments, other government departments like the EPA. Okay, he also wants to increase government by creating this new voice department. And voice stands for, I want to look that up here real quickly. Yeah, here we go. And I'm reading from the Business Insider website. In his first speech to Congress, President Trump announced the formation of a program called VOICE. Well, we love our acronyms, don't we? I'm sure he didn't come up with that, which stands for Victims of Immigration Crime Engagement. The announcement drew audible groans from some people in attendance. Well, we all know that was from people on the left side of the aisle. So basically, we're going to be spending money to create a department for victims of immigration crime engagement. Now, what is the purpose? What do they do? Do we get any details about that in that speech? No. Here's another tidbit from the speech. He claimed that 94 million people were out of work. And reports that I'm seeing tell me, I mean, just common sense tells me that that number doesn't sound right. But of course, just a little bit of research, and that means that he's counting people like my 75-year-old mother. He's counting people who are have disabilities. He's counting people who are stay-at-home moms. So again, this speech was full of lies and distortion. I guess this is a bright spot. He indicated in the speech that he's willing to soften a little bit on immigration. Maybe create a pathway to citizenship. Where we heard that before. But before I get too excited, before I say, oh, well, he's now being presidential. I'm going to give it about a week. I'll give it about a week. And I want to see if I ever hear him say that again. I don't know where Republicans, when he talks like this, he talks about spending more money. He talks about increasing government. He talks about, expanding the military. They love that because they're all war hawks. He talks about, he's going to cut government too, but he wants to expand it. Well, I guess that makes sense. So there's an equilibrium there. We're going to lose departments like the EPA so that we can increase our military and create this new voice department, whatever the hell that is. So I can't criticize him too much. At least he's being honest about where he's getting his money from. But he tends to talk like a Democrat in some respects. Infrastructure spending, and even more importantly, softening on immigration. And now the Republicans, just like they did when he got elected, they'll fall in line. They'll blank check. So for Republicans, I guess if you thought he did a great job last night, he gave a great speech. I don't know where you've been for the last 2 years because I know he's not a man of his word. So I don't know why I should believe him. And to all of you that still are telling me, wait and see, give him a chance, middle finger straight up. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry because it doesn't take me 2 years to make a decision about anything. So I don't need to wait and see any longer. The man's a liar. Still haven't seen his tax returns. I guess that's what y'all mean by wait and see, because we've been waiting, but we still haven't seen. So yeah, the wait and see, give him a chance. Y'all can keep that. Here's another one. Donald Trump actually said that we need to stop the petty bickering. This is the guy who got on Twitter to complain about Hamilton, to complain about Saturday Night Live, to complain about the fake news media, to complain about how even though we have photographic evidence, he's complaining that he's being maligned when he makes claims like the sun was out during his inauguration and the crowd stretched back to all the way down through the National Mall. And he complains about other assertions that he makes that are patently untrue, like the 5 million people who actually would have, had they been thrown off the rolls or had not done something illegal, he would have won the popular vote. So let's give it a week. Like I say, I've outlined some of the highlights, the things I picked up as highlights from last night's speech. Let's give it a week. I want to see if he can stay off Twitter for a week. If he can do that, I'll be impressed. Being impressed by a grown man staying off Twitter and not sounding like a petulant child for 7 days, it's not a high bar, is it? But moving on to something else I want to talk about. Betsy DeVos. We all know why there was a lot of contention for her getting the position of Secretary of Education, because she was kind of an idiot. This is the woman who said that some schools require guns to fend off grizzlies or something to that effect. It didn't take her much time to prove how stupid she really is. Now, I'm reading from International Business Times, dated today, March 1st, 2017. DeVos slammed by critics for HBCU remarks, and I quote, HBCUs are real pioneers when it comes to school choice. They are living proof that when more options are provided to students, they are afforded greater access and greater quality. Their success has shown that more options help students flourish. So, she is equating historically black colleges and universities as institutions that were created so that they could offer choice or options to people of color back in the 60s. That statement shows that she has no clue about HBCUs, and basically she just has no clue whatsoever. It wasn't about having options or a choice. It was because blacks were not being afforded any education, so they had to strike out on their own because they had no choice. I also want to quote Mary Beth Gassman, director of the University of Pennsylvania Center for Minority Serving Institutions. She's also an expert in historically black colleges and universities. She told Politico that the statement is inaccurate and a whitewashing of U.S. history. Further, she also says, I'm floored. Further, Austin Lane, the president of Texas Southern University, an HBCU, in Houston, who visited the White House, also said that he was puzzled by the analogy. Quote, HBCUs were created for African Americans because they had no choice and were unable to attend schools due to segregation laws. So this is who is the Secretary of Education. Now, it's my understanding that Trump is going to create an executive order to offer funding to HBCUs, and that's great. I tend to think it's hush money. Here, I'm gonna break y'all off a little bit of something. Now shut the hell up. Go and do what you gotta do. We have our own that we're gonna educate over here. Okay? We can't be bought off or paid off. If they are offering to fund HBCUs, great. But this requires a systemic approach. You know the old saying of giving a man a fish and he can eat for a day, or teaching him how to fish, he can eat forever. So don't just break me off some cash. You have to enact policies that will create jobs, as you claim you're going to bring 25 million jobs to this country, Mr. Trump. And you also, it's important that you create an environment or create the leadership model that would foment racial diversity, a welcoming atmosphere for people of all races. So create an environment where there are jobs for these kids who are graduating, and make sure that you set the tone for the environment, the environment that they are entering, the marketplace that they are entering. It's a multi-pronged approach. You can't buy your way out of something like that. All right, so I'm going to be keeping my eyes on the internet, on the news channels, on NPR, Fox News, Meet the Press, Face the Nation. These are all shows that I watch as often as I can. 1 week. I just want to see what happens in 1 week. We'll do baby steps. I suspect in 1 week I will see the same media that was somewhat praising Trump or affording Trump sort of a normalization now that he was able to speak in front of Congress. I just get a sense that in a week from now, at most a week from now, that same media will be excoriating him, as they should, holding his feet to the fire, as they should, and calling him out on his bullshit, as they should. And that does it for this episode. If you agree with me, disagree with me, I don't care. I want to hear from you. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you feel. We can chop it up. I will talk to you again. And I suspect I will be talking to you in at least 1 week.